Happy Wednesday! We're back!
For a moment, I almost said Tuesday.
Again? That's awesome.
I don't know why I cannot get that together, but we are back. It's season 2.
We are. I think I missed you.
Really? Because we talk to each other every single day. So
how are you doing?
I'm going to do good, but we actually have an intro this season. So here we go. Welcome, you guys, to season 2 of The Conversation. We are so happy to be back with a lively discussion with chefs of color, industry advocates who are blazing trails, changing narratives, and shaking ish up. I'm trying not to curse this much this year. This month is Black History Month. Like, why do we need a whole month? We could talk about that for 2 hours, so we're not. But this month is Black History Month, and we have a lineup of guests who are making history. So how are you doing?
You know what? I'm doing okay. I'm glad you asked how I'm doing. I think after 2020, we still need to continue to ask how you doing, right? You know, is there any progress? How's this 2021 treating you? What's your goals for the year? You know?
Oh, I know. Do you want me to tell you what mine are?
Tell me, please.
2 days a week, I have to wear real pants.
Stop. I didn't think you were going to tell that.
Like yoga material. They're actual like
right.
Denim, polyester blend cotton, not yoga. They cannot double as workout materials. So
oh my God.
I can work out in them.
That's a good one, though. That's a good one.
Yes.
It is a good one. Instead of dressing from the waist up, you're going to completely dress. Right.
I completely dress. And then the other, so my word for the year is fearless.
Okay.
And then
so I have to get used to that word.
Yeah. My phrase is not my circus, not my clowns.
Oh my God. Where did you get this stuff from, girl?
Saying people bring me that stuff, I have to tell them, not my circus, not my clown.
You're so funny.
That's okay. After 2020, I cannot be participating in other people's circuses. I have to kind of focus on my circus and my clowns.
Right. I hear you. I think my goal is to at least lose this 30 pounds that I have on me. I'm still working on that. And then just speak more positive vibes. Just keep my day going without someone pooping on my day and me carrying it all the way through. So that is my goal. Is to stay as positive as possible.
You know what your word could be? Yours could be, I can't take on anybody else's shit.
You want me to curse. That's all you want me to do. I just said poop. You know?
Okay, you can't take on anybody else's poop. That's your phrase for the year.
Well, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for my quote.
I do all I can to help. So let's talk about this week's guest. I'm super excited to have her on because she is making history.
Yes, she is.
Which, I don't know why it still like kind of gets under my skin that this is 2021 and we're still having years of first. Our first ever. The first this. It's like
think about it.
Is just
without those firsts, we wouldn't be able to have the footprints to open it up to the next.
I know. She's doing what Chef Keith Rose said. She's out in the woods, blazing a trail.
She's lazy.
For the rest of us.
She's been making history for a long time. She's been a role model, a mentor, just really showcasing what women can do in the culinary industry and what, and I'm just going to say it, Black people can do in this industry even more to exceed, to excel. I'm just really ready for her to be our first guest on the second season. Can you believe it? Our second season.
Let's bring in Chef Kimberly Brock Brown. Yay. Hey,
congratulations, ladies. Season 2.
Season 2. This was on the list of things that prior to COVID, we always like, oh, we should do a podcast. Oh, we should do this. Oh, we should do that. And then it's like, well, shoot, I'm in the house. Why not? We might as well just do it. So here we are.
Time. There you go.
Right.
I mean, what else? I have literally been quarantining for almost a year. I mean, we do like grocery store and that kind of thing, but in terms of our social interaction, me and the 7-year-old, it's really just kind of been us kicking it in this house for quite a long time. And there are times when we have thoroughly gotten on each other's nerves.
House ain't big enough. I know.
Not at all. Some days when it's her dad's day, I'm literally at the door like, and they're like, oh, you don't even have to knock. We're ready. Time for her to go. So anyway, we are so glad to have you on for our first episode, our first season for Black History Month and coming back. You are getting ready to make history. So I want you to talk about what this historical thing is that you're doing and how people can get involved.
Well, thanks for having me on the show. I'm very happy and honored to be here. And first guest, season 2. It's a great month. Black history is 24/7, 365. So this month we kick it up another year. So there you go. So I am currently the Southeast Regional Vice President for the American Culinary Federation. And we've opened up our campaign, our nominations for the 2021 year for 2-year terms. So I am campaigning, running now for National President of the American Culinary Federation. This is July, makes I think our 92nd year. And so my campaign is historical because there hasn't been a woman who's ran for national president, and hasn't been a person of color who's ran for national president. And I've been a pastry chef who's ran for national president.
That's right.
So I'm checking those boxes. Just the campaign itself is historic. Now when I win, I'm gonna speak it into existence.
When you win, listen, because all of you all, I'm interjecting, all of you ACF chefs who are like me, and you ain't paid your dues. You got time.
Hey,
you got until the end of March to become a member. So for you to vote in April.
Yes, so we have about 30 days so that we can reactivate and get these dues paid.
And we got some specials going on, and you can pay monthly, you can pay quarterly, whatever way works best for you. And if you've never been a member before, you get a free 90-day membership. So trial run kind of thing. So we got something for everybody. So please, it's historic, but I can't do it by myself. Don't want to do it by myself, and I want more people to be in position to do and come next. So it's not just about me; it's about everybody else.
We have to be paid members in order to come next.
Yeah. You gotta be paid members. A member in good standing. That's right. Hey.
So we're working on that. So how has this campaigning? How has this campaigning gone for you? I know that you've been talking a lot about it, and I just think that it's important. For me, I'm a younger veteran. Like, I've been in the industry for a long time, so I'm a kind of a veteran, but I'm not really. Sometimes I go back and forth where I'm like, is ACF relevant or is it old? And so I'm personally excited about your campaign because I feel like it's going to be a breath of fresh air and some new energy and some new blood and something that can at times be a little prehistoric.
And I've gotten those adjectives from my white counterparts and Black counterparts too. So there are people who are not people of color who are looking for the change and for a breath of fresh air, new ideas. We've got educators, we've got other colleagues who are chefs in kitchens who are working with a kitchen full or a classroom full of women. And so how do you relate to them? How do you teach them? How are you showing them, that they are relevant and that, the sky's the limit for them too, And so I've got a lot of support and people who are like, happy to see me do it, because it is there for them to inspire their students or the people who they are working with at this point in time right now. So it's a little bit of everybody who's been cheering on and coming on board. So, and
I love seeing you do it because I'm new to Clubhouse and I get in these chef groups every so often, and the question comes up every day almost that you're on there. Why do I have to go to school? I can't be a chef without going to school. just because you went to school doesn't make and I'm not taking away from any of that. I agree with all of that. However,
Right.
Here's where I'm at with it. This industry was built on the backs of our grandparents and our great grandparents and our great great grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And how dare we not take that extra step and get the education and the credentials so that we can have that extra level of legitimacy, because they've been stealing from our great grandparents since the age of time. So it's time for us to, legitimize ourselves. That's all. That's how I feel about it. And I'm not saying that someone.
Well, I mean, even a car mechanic has a certification, right? Even somebody who owns a salon or hairdresser, they have certifications. And so, as a professional, I've always told students, it differentiates you from having a job and having a career, right? Mm-hmm. How serious are you going to be? Are you up and current? I mean, even a doctor goes back to school, it takes courses or classes, right? And so why would we not do that for ourselves? I mean, we're in a position to really seriously kill somebody if we don't do our stuff right. I mean, food is health and food is healing. And so we don't know the latest thing about how we're handling food with COVID. We can really seriously do some damage.
So let me ask you this question. Since you just mentioned COVID, and I'm not going to stray us away too far, how do you feel about all these new cooks, home cooks that are selling out their homes, that are doing, oh my God, I'm a chef now. I think that word has been.
I don't even want to call myself a chef anymore.
Well, that it's not being used properly anymore.
I agree.
And it's taking away the status of what a chef is. And as you know, Chef Kimberly, my biggest thing is to really open up the windows and the eyes to people to say, hey, this isn't what real cooking is. We lose money out if you're a caterer. Mm-hmm. You lose money out if you're a pastry chef or whatever. I've never seen so many chocolatiers in my life lately, from the chocolate to the chocolate hearts that are going out. And everyone asking me,
it delegitimizes some of our work. Because
yes, it does. And how do you feel about that?
The same way, it didn't have to take COVID for me to have that opinion. It was the same thing when I see Master Chef on TV or Junior Master Chef. Like, what is a Junior Master Chef? And how can you tell me some 12-year-old is going to be a Master Chef? Really?
Right.
It's not right. It like I said, it's just taking the word. Everybody wants it, right? And when it has that star power, that quality to it, and everybody's aspiring for, chef. I mean, because the kitchen still is like the number one spot in the home. People have company. The kitchen is the joint. That's where you want to be. And it's the same thing when you have every talk show just about has a kitchen segment on it, or somebody's on there cooking or whatever. I mean, that's still the spot, the place, the entertainment. I mean, it's like the new entertainment section or whatever. So people are aspiring to do what they can do, right? And it's kind of bastardized the word, or kind of made it generic, or kind of commonplace, whatever. But we know as professionals what we do, and what we've gone through, and in a minute, we can all speak to and espouse experiences about whatever we've done in our careers. So the home chef or the new Zoom star or whatever it is. Okay,
TikTok.
Yeah. Okay. They can have it. Let them have it. But when you put it up against somebody who's been there, who's professional about it, who's legit, who's been down that road, or who's got, whether they've gone to school or not. But if you got your certifications, I can speak all day long to somebody who's certified versus somebody who's not, and why you should be, and why you do. State your credentials. Go get your credentials, and put yourself ahead of the pack. Period.
And people sometimes when I get to talk to young African American students, they're like, "Well, why do I have to go that route?" And I'm like, "Well, if you feel like a system is not serving you, is it easier to change that system from the outside looking in or from the inside looking out? You can't change a system.
You can't hold
a system accountable when you're beating on the door from the outside. You need to be in.
You gotta be in the room. You gotta be at the table. It's the run for the presidency. There you go. You gotta be in the room. To affect change, you gotta be in the room. Period. Yep. Otherwise, you have no reason to complain about anything if you're not even trying. I mean, so even if I don't win, I'm trying. So I've made my message. I'm making my point. And so they were here, and the to keep going with the status quo and think you're going to grow and change, like I said, 21st century, and we're still doing things we did 30 years ago, 40 years ago.
Right.
Well, it's a 92-year organization, really, and women. I think the study is more women coming out of culinary school than men. But where are we with restaurant ownership? With some of it's on us.
Now that's in the United States, correct? That's only in the United States. Right. I think more, and also maybe in the Caribbean also, because I've noticed that too when I was down there. But do you feel the same way in Europe too, that more women are coming out of culinary school than men?
No, I don't think that's so in Europe. I don't think so. People
Europe still operates, to me, on that old school apprenticeship, work your way up. And their ratings are different than ours, and their standard for what is a quality restaurant is different than ours. Like, Applebee's is not a thing in France. They might have one, but Applebee's type of restaurant is not.
Franchises are not that huge over there.
It's not a thing. Olive Garden is not a thing in Italy. Okay, no one's going to the Olive Garden.
They got a KFC and the McDonald's.
Right.
I've seen them.
Right. And I know that they do because I watch a lot of Korean movies. Don't ask.
And this is part of COVID. This is the COVID part coming in.
Right, we're transitioning. I watch a lot of Korean movies, and I'm gonna tell it because I've rationalized it to myself that if I'm reading and watching TV, I'm still learning.
That's true.
Maybe not. Anyways, they eat a lot of KFC. And for a while, I was like, why do I want KFC? I don't even like KFC like that. And then I was like, that's because everybody in these damn movies is eating fried chicken from KFC. That's why you're trying to go get some fried chicken. Stop. They eat a lot of KFC.
It's a status for American restaurants over there. It's a status thing, right? And also, usually they have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is still, it's not like here. You got to go places to get Wi-Fi on some spots, right? And so it's status. It really could be a status thing. I'm going to do like the Americans do. This is what they eat. I'm going to eat it too.
Right. So now we're transitioning into industry. Can you believe this has been going on for a year?
So somebody said, "What? How's your year going? Or is this month 13?"
No, because in COVID, you didn't know a day is a week is a month is a year. So we've been doing this.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
All right.
Hold on. Her internet did something. Wait. Okay, you're back.
Nope.
Hold on.
Yay!
There we go.
Okay, there you are. You're back. So what I was saying is that in COVID, a day is a week is a month is a year. So we're in our 13th year of this whole. We're heading into our 12th year of the virus.
And when you're getting 2 weeks out in your car,
she's like,
okay,
we don't want it.
Yeah, and
your internet is.
Your shot. Are you signed up? I mean, are you ready to go out and be social? Are you ready? Yay! Again?
I can't get it here just yet. There's still. I'm in Kansas. We're slow. It comes in, and we have some infrastructure problems. Right. So we're working on, like, their unemployment system is working on a computer server from 1974, and I think that they're still using Windows 97.
Oh God.
Right. So that's what we're doing here. We're, they might as well be handwriting checks and mailing them because that's how the unemployment process is working. It's like an old lady at the checkout line in the grocery store writing checks. That's what's going on here. So I think at some point I'll be eligible to get a vaccine, probably towards the end of the year, if I'm being realistic. I've learned throughout COVID just kind of set realistic expectations with how this thing is going to roll out. But I do think that for the health of our industry, that they need to prioritize. I understand that they're prioritizing seniors and healthcare workers, but food service workers and grocery store workers definitely
are essential people too. You got to eat. You got to feed the healthcare people. You got to feed everybody.
Right. They need to prioritized. You know, I don't know how you've been doing, but I was telling someone I've only done a few personal chef events, and cooking in a mask is very hard. And they're like, why? I was like, because it involves all of my senses. I need my nose to smell. So I'm constantly like, you know, what's that? That's a part of your process. You're monitoring whatever the dish you're making with your ears. You're monitoring it with your nose. You're tasting it. You're feeling it. And when you can't smell something, that's a big component of what it is that you're doing. So
That's true.
yeah,
That's
I just, you know, and people, so, you know, as we're building back this food industry, I don't know, what are your thoughts? How do you feel like, you know, if you, as you're going to be elected into this new position, they're going to be looking to the ACF for guidance and leadership as restaurants and industry people. Some of us, a huge population of us, are displaced and not working.
understood. I mean, I'm not even sure that we're building back yet. I'm not even sure that we've hit the plateau to get back. I don't think we've got that yet.
Right.
Ask me again in another month, maybe, you know, see how this new strain, this new deviant variant, whatever has happened and what's going on with that. But
Right.
you know, I don't think we've bottomed out yet. I really don't, and that's really scary and sad because, you know, how many restaurants and food businesses have closed up now. So I think, you know, I've told students all last year when they were graduating and all, and I said we are essential people. You just have to find another way to feed people safely for yourself and for them. You know, so if that's the food truck, I mean, yeah, some people have always done to-go stuff, but you know, to-go stuff has never been cheap. The packaging sometimes costs more than the doggone food does. You know, and so how do you incorporate all that when people think a food truck should be $5 for this, and that? No, that's $15 for that. You know, because that's the packaging, and then
because I have $3.25 in packaging.
Okay, see.
Well, now it's more than that. Only because of COVID, all the packaging
and demand.
Because everyone is doing to go.
Yep.
So then they've hiked up the price, and
Supply
then
and demand.
Supply and demand. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, finding out ways that you could market yourself, whatever your niche is, expertise is, I think is the only way to do it. And maybe even collaborating with a couple of people. You know, some of these restaurants are sitting empty during the day. Utilize it during the day with somebody else, and let them do their thing at nighttime. You know, it's old school. People have been sharing restaurants and kitchens for a long time. Especially if it's just sitting there. Utilize it. You know, figure that out. How you can do it.
You've been seeing a lot of ghost kitchens and shared kitchens kind of popping up over the last few months, and that's kind of been the thing to do. I've noticed a lot, like when you look at your food delivery apps, you're seeing a lot more concepts that are coming up that are not pickup. They're just delivery only. There's a couple of restaurants here that are independents who have created a whole nother division that is just carry out and delivery. That's not even something that they would offer in their regular space, just to keep people working and keep the bills paid. I think that all independent restaurants, because I'm in the point now where I feel like we have to differentiate between like restaurants, because not all restaurants are the same. You have your small and your independent restaurants, and those are the ones that are really kind of carrying the weight to me of this pandemic. They're the ones who are getting hit the hardest. Your destinations, your independents, your mom and pop shops, all your little favorite spaces. Those are the ones that are really just kind of, they happen to be creative because they don't have the same type of access financially. Maybe they don't have all the slick marketing and they just don't have that. So they've got to be super duper duper creative with that. And I've been seeing too, I don't know how you feel about this, people in my space, the personal chef space, that's starting to come back now, where people are like, okay, we don't want to gather with 20 or 30 people for a family event. Maybe we have just the immediate people in our family and we have someone come in and cook, and that becomes the event,
Yeah, I've seen that. Actually, I was talking to someone about that just yesterday. They used to having those gatherings, those intimate gatherings of 30 pins, and now it's just family, and maybe then this family can do it, so I've seen it. I've been talking to people about it. So personal chefing is the way to go. A lot of people, you can prepared to their home, prepared to your home or that kitchen that you might be renting out, and drop it off and keep going. So, and people still want good food. They still want some style to their food. They don't want just stop it in there and have a nice day. So presentation is never going to go away. But if you can make good food and make it accessible to some people, the money's still there. People still going to eat.
Yeah,
and nobody knows how to cook anyway. They don't even like cooking for real. They like coming to our restaurant and telling us how to cook, but y'all ain't cooking at home. I see your plates.
I've seen many nice houses and the kitchen is brand new, like never, like y'all got frozen food up. Y'all not even cooking in this fabulous kitchen.
Y'all have a whole Viking stove and you're using it to make noodles and frozen pizza.
Yeah. Or as a storage for something. I mean, what are y'all doing? I mean,
No, they designed those kitchens so we can come in and cook for them. That's all. So then we have the proper equipment.
They're not doing it. It's right.
To give them beautiful food. I have a question about since COVID and all this, and now we're in our 13th year, as Shanita would say, of COVID. What do you think about a lot of, as Shanita said, a lot of the fine dining restaurants, they have had to go into other ways of being creative so that they don't, lose their businesses. One great example is Chef Bailey and the Gray up in Charleston. She just did a pop-up in New York. I'm sorry?
She's in
Savannah. Yes, that's right, in Savannah. She just did a pop-up in New York, and everything was to go. In this beautiful,
I saw those pictures. I saw that.
So tell me what you think about that. And that was very creative. At the same time, it came out the same time with her new book that just came out. I think we're going to see a lot more cookbooks, lifestyle books from chefs and stars. But what do you think about all this, the new part of culinary industry that is happening?
I love that. I mean, I think, making it sexy, jazzing it up and putting your personal style in the packaging, let alone. I mean, that's money now.
Yeah, that's real money.
That's little money. You ain't gonna just come off and that's not going to Sam's or Costco getting that either. You go paying to get that logo, get that look. You paying. And so, to have some sponsor or to have somebody with some deep pocket or your own account, that's great. To brand yourself that way. That's beautiful. If you can afford to do that, or somebody can write that check for you to do that, that's the way.
Yeah, I think she was sponsored by Lexus.
Well, something different, that extra.
Yeah,
she's on it. She's on it. She can go up to New York. I mean, if I say it's New York and the money, blah 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 blah, they just because everything's more expensive in New York than say Savannah or Charleston, or Jacksonville. And so, of course, she's gonna get that high dollar, and she's gonna get more PR because that's what PR marketing is hailing from, is New York. So she did great to get that out there. She pushed it and she did right.
Yeah.
She did run it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. That's because the traditional fine dining model is it's going to be a long time before people are able to spend that kind of money. However, these restaurants that I see that are doing these amazing take-home experiences, even when people I feel like are paying a little bit more. I've seen it here, and we're in Kansas City, where they get this a beautifully packaged meal, and then you're on with like a 20 or 30-minute Zoom, and the chef is kind of going through it with you. And it really just
more interactive. Everybody wants to talk to the chef. So you get a little piece of the chef, but you get that big, you get this nice big box of goodies that she has prepared for you. And, so it's more personalized because people are really missing that personalized experience, right? I mean, that's why I'm not, even if I don't want to go to a restaurant. That's not my idea of ambiance and experience, but, the waiters all maxed up, gloved up. And I got to walk to the bathroom and wear that's not the experience I want. Right. And so when you can have whatever you can have.
Not when you're spending $300.
See?
Right.
If I'm gonna go to the local wing spot and we watching the game, okay. But if I'm about to drop $300, you can't enjoy a $125 bottle of wine when you're like, it doesn't feel right. And then you're like, maybe, it's just not. It's not a good experience. So
So if I can connect with you with some food or some chocolate that you've made. And we sitting here talking like this, and I'm like, oh my God. And so what did you do? What's it? Oh my girl, then that's different. That's me having some personal time with the chef. Then I can go and brag that. I can have that recorded, and I can go and like, oh my God, y'all should be. And I can go brag on my, I can go brag all day long and put that on my own IG feed or my own Facebook and whatever. I can just, look what I did today.
Yes, I was
Erica's bonbons, whatever.
I love it.
People always love to talk to a chef.
Yes, they do.
They love the chef. So when they find out you're a chef and they can touch and eat your food and then have some interaction with you, you're winning.
Yeah, I love it. So I feel like now because we always have to keep mentioning that, we're doing our election start for 26. People have until March don't wait till the end of March, friends. Let's wait till about March 10th. Give them time to process paperwork. Get your admission, your dues paid.
Make sure that stuff go through.
Right. That part. Talking about, we didn't get your form. It didn't happen. So friends, you need to get your ACF dues paid by March 10th so that we're all ready to vote on 4/26. Yes. That's when we're voting. Where do you feel like you just touched on it earlier, but you said there's a lot more women, especially in the States, coming out of culinary school. So where do you feel like we're headed in terms of women and leadership? And if you were going to advise a young lady coming out of school or preparing to come out of school, how does she make her mark in this industry?
I believe that you really have to networking and marketing. You got to really network. You can't just work, and head is down. You're never out there. You got to somehow figure out how to put yourself out there. And so doing different events or going to other people's events, I have found for myself that it's not me necessarily going to other food events or being in the food event, but going to a different type, altogether out the category event. Well, I'm the only chef there, and I can talk to this banker, this real estate, this whatever, any other industry, because food is related to anybody and everything, right? They don't have this party, they don't have this thing coming up. Oh, here you go, just to network with people, because you never know who needs something down the road, down the line. So networking, I think, is going to be key, especially when everybody's looking, everybody's wanting to do something. How do you differentiate yourself with that? Everybody, social media is great, but I think, finding 1 to 2 clients that you can, and like I said, you got to put yourself out there. You just can't be making those cupcakes, making that, that little meal, and giving it to the church. You got to get out there and really find some people. And when you're part of an association, federation, organization, that kind of helps you with that, right? Because there's listing of people, there's listing organizations, and it just puts you in places, because sometimes it's not what you know that gets you in the door, but who you know. What you know will get you in the door, but you got to meet the people to get you to open up that door and get in there, right? And so if you're always sitting at home or always in the kitchen, you're never out talking to other people, meeting other people, so they don't know where you are and who you are, you kind of shooting yourself in the foot.
No, I agree.
You gotta get out there, you got to meet people.
And I think a lot of people have connected, as Shanita mentioned earlier today, was Clubhouse. Okay. That is a great system that has just started up. You have to have an iPhone, of course, to be a part of that little association, the society. How do you feel about Clubhouse? What do you think about that, as in communicating and meeting with people?
I mean, just like anything else, it's exciting for those, but for those who don't have the iPhone, I mean, I got one. I mean, I carry 2. I got the iPhone was my work phone, and then I got the Droid, right? And so if you don't have the iPhone, but like anything else, people, find another way. There'll be something to come on a Droid, because never would Droid not keep up with an iPhone, right? And so there'll be something else coming along. So it's just a matter of time. But if you got it, you got it. If that's what you like to do, and it gets you to the medium and the people that you want to see, I'm all for it.
I am too. I'm all for sharing ideas and collaboration. We have to.
I have a question. So we have 2 screens going on at the same time. So I have a question from Quentin, and he says, "Hello, chefs," and then he says, "How are chefs in the industry doing now compared to May, June last year concerning chefs' mental health during this time of COVID?" And then also he said, Chef Farah and I are rooting for you as president of the ACF in the Bahamas. These are our people down in the Bahamas, which, you know, they love you down there so much. So it's huge.
That's my area. That's my district. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't think, I think it's gotten worse from last summer to what it is where we are now. I think it has. And I think a lot of people are just kind of stressed out. Like, you know, if they lost their job or stopped working or the restaurant closed or the hours got cut, you know, and then you deal with the government stuff, or can I get unemployment? Or, you know, did it run out? You know, and so, you know, we still got bills.
Right.
You know, and so if Uncle Sam is only going to give you this much and maybe give you a stimulus, you know, I don't know what that stimulus is going to stimulate, because that don't really pay too much rent, you know, or
it's usually gone within the same time it comes in. It's out the in and out. Yeah.
It was an emulous. It wasn't no,
you know, this
emulous.
It didn't need to be an entrepreneur, really, you know, to start doing what you can do for yourself. That this is just such a great time to do it. You know, and you got time. You can be online and take some of these classes and educate yourself a little bit better. You know, make sure you're COVID safe. You know, but all the latest requirements for it, so that you can still do what you love to do, what you're passionate about doing, or what you make money at. You know, and still cook and still be healthy for you and for the person you want to feed. You know, so I think a lot of people have gone back to school online, and either they have totally pivoted and gone into another career path, or they've taken which is what I'm going to be doing, taking my experiences the past 30-something years and use that for something else. You know, springboard to something different. You know, I can't walk away from 30 years of experience of being in the culinary arts. Why would I do that?
Right.
You know, what else can I do?
Right. I was going to say that. So I've had people say to me, why don't you just go get a job? Doing what, sir? I've literally done this for 23 years. Shall I go to the Walmart and try to get a job as a checker? Is that what you want? Do you want to get in my line?
They won't allow you anyway.
They won't even hire me, first of all. And do you want to get in my line? Because I'm going to be the person who's like, help, I'm messing up. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So that part, what I've noticed with a lot of chefs, we have to be honest about the depression that people are experiencing. And where that I feel like is coming from is that people don't know. When you go into this industry, you set all of these benchmarks for yourself. I want to do James Beard this. I want to get ACF this. And so then when you see that start to crumble and you're like, oh, wow, all of these benchmarks and all of these matrix that I personally had for myself, they don't exist anymore in the way that they did when I got into this as a career. So now because so many of us are defined by those awards and those accolades, and that's all we were striving for. So I have been telling people that you have to be, first of all, give yourself an opportunity to grieve that. It's a real thing. Our industry changed almost overnight. Almost overnight, it changed. And what we thought and we're still in this process of changing. Like, you know, it's hard to make a plan because you don't even know what's happening from state to state to now we're in a whole new administration. There's all new rules and regulations and things getting ready to come out. That is a really hard thing to navigate. So I feel like a lot of us chefs need to take, you know, like you said, take time. This is your downtime. Go back to your list of things that you used to say, if I ever had time off, if I could ever slow down, I would do, and start attacking some of that stuff.
At the same time, there's a lot of people out there that have not gotten to stay home. I haven't yet. I need a break. I want that break. Lock me in. Lock me in my house, please.
Hey, you kept stay here with her.
No, I didn't ask for that part. TT will stay right here. But for those people that are, I guess they consider an essential worker, I've kind of transformed I'm also doing pastries, I'm baking, I'm doing chocolate, but then I'm running a coffee shop as a general manager, you know, so I'm out there. And I just realized, and I was talking to Shanita earlier this week, I was like, I have the winter blues. I'm recognizing that I'm kind of in that depressed mode.
Listen,
and I'm tired.
I'd
You
attack
know?
a whole jar of vitamin B gummies. I'm pretty sure it was a 30-day supply in about 2 weeks. Okay, I was like,
But that is exhausting. You're already mentally exhausted because you have to walk out that front door and you don't know what's about to happen. You know, and then somebody says, yes, I do remember you as well as Chocolatier National. Oh, blah, blah, blah. They love you. They're in Bahamas. They love you, love you, love you. But I think the thing for right now, even going into, as we say again, our 13th year of COVID, I think I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head, Shanita. Thanks.
It's the 13th year. This shit has felt
it's overwhelming.
I feel like we are living in Game of Thrones. You know how they kept saying for like the first 5 seasons, winter is coming, and then winter got there season 7 and 8. That's where I feel like we are. Like winter is here. It's been coming and it's here, and we're never getting out of it. I'm waiting on the Night King to come and get us all up.
Well, you know, but I think that chefs are very resilient people.
Yeah.
And like we can take the oink and make it a meal. You know what I'm saying? We do things with food that a lot of people can't. You know, so that I think that we may bounce a little hard a couple times, but I think we get back up and we do things. You know, so it's the pivot, it's the transformation. What else can I do? How can I add to this? How can I make this better? And like I said, if it's the food truck, the food cart, if it's the personal meals, I mean, look at those meal delivery services have gotten nothing but bigger and bigger. You know, some of them are very specific, all vegetarian, all this, all healthy, or just whatever. You know, and I think that start off small in your neighborhood. You know, there's so many options for food because people are going to eat, and people are tired of their own little craziness. You know, they want something different.
You said that. Start off small in your neighborhood. I think where people are wearing themselves out, because I see, you know, a lot of things. It's like you selling tacos, you got open mic nights, you doing parties, you doing baby showers. Pick your thing and focus on that thing. And then if you narrow in on that thing, you're gonna not be driving yourself crazy mentally. I think a lot of us are going crazy
mentally. Specialize in one thing and do it right. You know, all in.
This is. I think a lot of people have this like spaghetti on the wall approach to COVID. Like, I'ma just get all of it and throw it up there and see what sticks. And it's like, no, find a lane and stay in it and watch that lane thrive. And then it will help with your mental because you're not in that space where you're trying to be everything to everybody. You know, someone asked me, one of the magazines here asked me, what did I think, you know, as we're moving out of COVID, and what I'm gonna stick to all season on season 2 is there has to be a changing of expectations on both sides. Customer has to expecting restaurants to produce amazing meals at a 27% food cost and a 30% labor is trash.
Yep.
We
can't. It's like was talking about the last couple of days is, you know, how's that $15 an hour? What's that going to do for you and your business? Or how's that affect you and your livelihood? You know, like, well, I mean, when I've catered, I always have paid my people more than $15 an hour because I want good service. I want exceptional service. And I want you to show up and do what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to pay you what I need you to pay you for you to be here. And they were happy to be there to have to work.
Right. And so and then that's the other part is that we have to take care of the people that are taking care of us. Yeah. And the way that we change this toxicity in this industry is the other expectation that needs to be changed is expecting people to work themselves like dirty dogs to the bone for pennies on the dollar, and people not being able to take days off, and restaurants not being able to afford to offer health insurance. So then people are using other things to take care of their mental wellness, their physical wellness, because this is my thing for dealing with exhaustion, right? But other people in the industry, as you know, other things. Why? Because we have to go. People don't understand, you know, you work those 16, 17-hour shifts. Most of the time, I don't come home and fall right asleep because my adrenaline is too high. Right. Now I'm up for another 2 hours piddling around the house.
And calm down.
Yeah, trying to calm myself down, probably because I've had 4 of these, and now I'm like, you know, or 16 coffee or whatever that was that I did. So I honestly feel like consumers have got to they've got to have realistic expectations. Prices are going to have to go up. There's no way that you guys are going to be able to expect us as an industry to comply with all of these COVID cleaning protocols and all this additional training and all the stuff that we need to do to keep people safe. But you still want to pay, you know, $17 for a 14-ounce ribeye steak. That's just not going to happen anymore.
And half the time, even just us going grocery shopping, the food's not there because the manufacturing and production is not back to where it was, you know, pre-COVID. You know, so you can't even get everything. So your menu's kind of at the mercy of what's today. You know, you might want to go forage and get it yourself.
Right. And then also, I mean, a lot of people are still at home, so they're grocery shopping a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, if they're doing DoorDash or whoever, Instacart or whatever, you know, all the quality meats or whatever are not in there because they're all in their freezer.
Yeah.
And in their home.
Like the toilet paper was earlier last year.
Yeah. The toilet paper. Oh my God. There's one I wanted to bring up really quick, and I know we're coming up before Shanita has the big question. Shanita had mentioned how people, their expectations, the customer's expectations. I've noticed, as in being just in the coffee shops and the little cafes of serving, getting people ready and serving them baked goods and coffee or whatever. Mm-hmm. These people are not the same as what they were in 2019. All they want is convenience. How fast can you get that for me at this price? As you said, don't lowball us because all the pastries are gone up now. Yes. You know, a cup of coffee is a cup of coffee, but a latte is not a latte anymore. It's $6 to $10 to $12 because the milk has gone up because people are drinking more milk on a heavy cream or whatever. But their patience is gone
because people are on edge. I'm like, everybody just needs to like.
But they're not. They're not until you would like that to be. You know, maybe I'm not saying that Biden's going to change the whole world or whatever, but that would be so great if there was something for everyone to come together at one point and just breathe.
Right. That's my other expression. Tell the DJ to bring it back. Okay. Just bring it back.
Just breathe. Because I mean, people aren't realizing if they stood and looked in the mirror or having these kind of conversations, honestly, and being realistic, they're not breathing. Still, they really weren't breathing about 8 months ago, and they still haven't caught their breath yet. You know, as a candidate of running for president, I love that for ACF. What is that you want to do for ACF that no one else is going to do, and with your experience, with your outlook on everything from COVID to now, and with the young kids coming out of culinary school, and you know, I call young kids, they could be 50 years old coming out of culinary school, but they're kids because they haven't been in the industry long enough.
Right.
How do you feel? What is it that you're going to bring to the table that no one else can?
Well, first of all, having a diverse idea and representation around that table is key. Because I look at things a different way than what the boys and the guys will look at things, right? And so my heart, my love is the mentoring part of it. I want the presidents, the board members to all be a mentor to culinary students or somebody who's just graduated, because there's such a wealth of information and knowledge that we have that we should be sharing anyway, but we don't. Some people will take it to the grave, right? But we don't. And so how do we, especially when it comes to our organization or just culinary stuff, period, to take that person under the wing. This is how I do this is whatever, and just teach them, talk to them, give them somebody to talk to when they're having issues, difficulties, whatever. I can't figure out how to do this, or I'm stuck on a recipe, just whatever. What's the next step? And especially when you have all this online classes, because there's no way I don't think I could go to culinary school online. It's just, I mean, how do you smell, touch, taste, or correct me, all those times when I broke that hollandaise sauce when I was in culinary school, like, Oh, this is it. Okay, great. Next. So you need that real life experience, and you need that from somebody who's been there, done that, and meet that aged person, the experienced person, with a culinary student or somebody who's fresh out and just not getting into their career, their profession, right? I think that wealth, why would you want to die with that? Why would you not want to share that and pass on that passion that you had and still have to somebody else so they can have it and use the experience of it, doesn't have to go through the craziness that you had to go through. You might be able to, lose a few bumps along the way and make things better, right? And so I think really the mentoring part of the older seasoned chef with the younger, fresher chef and getting those together, I think it's a win-win for the industry.
Also, I have one more, and then I'm done, Shanita. I'm done. Do you see it to be more diverse? Because when I was coming up in school, excuse me, it was majority white. Uh-oh, the word is telling me to don't say it. But anyway,
but that means you have to say it. So get it out.
now I have to say it. I was coming up through culinary school, and I was in Detroit. It was nothing but white folks. It may have been two in ACF up there in Detroit, in ACF. How diverse do you see ACF now? And even once you become the president of ACF, which you will be, we're just speaking that into existence. How diverse do you see it? And what is the tools that you're going to bring to the table to make it more diverse?
Well, I believe diversity has happened. I've seen more when I've adjunct before. I've always had majority women in my classrooms, and I've adjunct 4 different times. So I've always had majority women, but people of color, I've seen it gotten better because they realize, especially here in the Charleston area, such a foodie town, that it's an industry that you can really get into. And the education, especially at a community college, is not expensive. It's affordable. And so it could be a career changer. It could be something that lights you on that path, right? And so I think the diversity is there. But like we were saying earlier, a lot of people don't see the need to get the formal education, right? Because I've been cooking for the church and for my grandmama and them forever. Why I got to go to school and get a piece of paper? So it's a big difference, and having them understand the difference between the professionalism of a chef or a cook or culinarian versus somebody who's doing it on the side, on the weekends, whatever. It's a big difference.
Right.
But the diversity is there. Getting them to see and go for that paperwork, it's a process. It's going to be a process, I do believe. Bringing it to the table, I've had many conversations already with, just because I'm running, I'm going to sign up. Just because I'm running, oh my God, I was so disappointed I wasn't even going to renew my membership, but I'm going to renew it now. So I've already seen some of the snowball effect of it, of me just campaigning, and me meeting people and talking to people that I've already seen it, that, okay, this is something different. I'm fired up about this. I'm excited. I'm going to do this, but I can bring meat to the table, and some people will be just excited to see that. Because I'll never forget the one lady, I forgot what island she was from when I was we were doing exams on the Royal Caribbean. And she wasn't taking the exam. There were no ladies in that whole galley on that whole ship taking the exams. And I asked her why. When just by chance she walked by the chef's office, and she said she just thought it was something the white guys were doing, the European guys were doing, and it wasn't for her, right? That she never saw a lady, a female, and a person of color with the jacket on and the patches and all that. She couldn't even visualize herself doing it because she'd never seen it. So just to be seen, we got to be seen, right? And I told somebody the other day, you never know, she's a newbie, in the profession, a couple of years, 10 years maybe, and she's looking at me. I'm an inspiration, but you're an inspiration too, because you don't know who's looking at you, right?
That's right.
I didn't know they were looking at me. Guess who's looking at you, doing what you do, right? Because we all got the eyes on us. We just didn't really realize it or not, right? And so to be that inspiration, I could be the first, but like Kamala said, I will not be the last, right?
Amen.
Right.
Pull people through, bring people in position, right? You got to bring them up to want to take it themselves. So we have to learn how to step up. We have to learn how to do things for ourselves as well, and also do things for others. Because giving is part of it. You just can't do this for yourself all the time.
Right.
I do care about the younger people behind me. This industry is hard enough to be female, be black. And back in my day, to be a pastry chef, because pastry chefs were like third class.
I'm right there. Me and you are in the same age group, so I understand. I totally know.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I get that. So why do I want to make that the same path for somebody else? Let me help lighten that load for you, right? So what I could do, what I would suggest, and what I would say, do this, do that, and go here. Don't go like that, because oh my God, So just to share that. So let's go back to that mentoring. How do we talk to other people to share that knowledge so that they don't have to have the same pitfalls that we had? It's hard enough as it is.
I love that answer. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the last question, and I know what it is this season. It's advice that you would give to young Kimberly. What is Kimberly now? If you could go back and tell young Kimberly something, I would tell myself, you're not curing cancer.
Oh my God.
Chill. Like, I was way too serious those first 10, 15 years. Chill.
Okay. I think I would go back and I would tell a young Kimberly that things are going to be all right. That you don't have to hide. I grew up with two older sisters, right? And so this one would do this and that one would do that. And so the middle one, the next to the last, I got a younger brother. So I didn't have to push myself. I didn't have to do, because this one would do this and this one would do that. And so I would tell myself, you can go and do this. You don't have to wait for them to do that for you, or for your mother or dad to come say, hey, to be more assertive, to be more progressive to the young Kimberly, not to wait for, because I never thought and wanted to be the first one. That was never my thought. I didn't know. That was like secondary. I didn't know anything about that. It was just I wanted to learn, or I wanted to be here, or I wanted to be a part of that. So I just did it. And afterwards is when I found out I was the first Black person to do it. So it wasn't about, for me, the awards or accolades. It was just, do that. And so learning more about it and taking, I think, more of a proactive stance to my career, I think I would tell her to do that. Reach out there.
Awesome.
Okay, Erica, what are you telling young Erica?
What would I tell young Erica? Honestly, it's okay to be a chef. It was always, my mom and my grandmother always said, you got this, you got it. But my dad didn't think so. And I looked for his approval. And so that's what it would be. I would not look for anyone's approval. I would just run with it. And I think I would have told myself, my 16-year-old self, to learn French, get your passport, and right out of high school, go to France. That's what I would have told my young self. Just go to France. Just leave. Instead, I didn't. I stayed in Detroit. Life happens, this and that. But I think I would have told myself, don't be afraid. You got this. Your self-confidence, rise it up. Don't look for no approval. Get your passport and get the hell to France. That's it.
I love that. I love it. So it feels like we've only been talking for 5 minutes. I can't believe it. But that was quick. I want to remind everybody, all of our culinary friends who are watching or are gonna watch this, if you're not a member in good standing, we have to support this sister. So we've got until March 10th. But let's just do it by the end of this month. Let's get our dues.
If you're not in the ACF, join, become a member, so then you can vote for a chef.
Join. Go to the website. I'll put it in the comments. There's lots of specials, Chef Kimberly said. They got everything. So get in there, get your dues paid so that we can vote for Chef Kimberly come 4/26. Because we also are not going to wait till the last day of the voting to vote. We're going to vote for early. Is that what
Chicago style, early and often? Oh, okay.
Right. We're going to follow the Stacey Abrams rule and get our butts in line first. Okay. We're not going to wait until the last morning trying to log on and our login ain't working and then we don't get to vote. We're going to vote early.
Village, and I need the village. I need the tribe to be there with me. I can't do this by myself. So.
Right. You can't. And for all of us who have complained, if you've ever had something negative to say about why you're not sure if you want to be an ACF member or why you don't know if you want to renew and stay a member, this is your opportunity to vote in somebody and hold them accountable for making the changes that you want to see. So with that,
we're going to continue to talk about this on every show so that we can push it. We'll put it on our Facebook, Instagram pages, and hopefully we'll catch each other in clubhouses so that we can talk about that too.
Vote.
Please vote.
Do what you need to do. So this has been an exciting first episode of season 2. Thank you so much, Chef Kimberly, for joining us. I consider
this my early birthday present. Thank you, ladies. Woo, woo.
Well, happy birthday, love.
Happy birthday. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Please like and share and comment. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, leave a comment there, share it, and let us know what you want to see. So I guess we'll be back here next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. Let's see.
We got Chef Irie out of Fort Lauderdale, our Jamaican chef, who is also, I think he was live on ABC this morning or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So he's going to be on, and I'm sure he's going to be talking about all his good things that he's got going on, because he also has a Island Caribbean show that he's did for the past 2 years, and Private Catering Chef to the Stars. So, yeah.
Join us next week, and thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.